President Buhari inaugurates federal and state landmark projects in Kano. Vice President Osinbajo harps on importance of cashless economy policy towards curbing illicit election financing.
Can assure the Nigerian people that will be a free and fair elections.
2023 elections, EU, ECOWAS Parliament lend support for credible outcome. This is NTA Network News reaching you live from Abuja. I'm Naja'atu Tijani. Michael Onlaleye is presenting from Lagos. Remember to follow this news live on our website, nta.ng/live. NTA News Now and all our other social media platforms displayed on the screen. We begin with news from Kano State as state-of-the-art legacy projects executed by the federal government in the areas of power supply, transportation, as well as information and communications technology have been inaugurated in Kano towards enhancing the nation's socio-economic development. President Muhammadu Buhari performed the ceremony during a one-day official visit to the Center of Commerce. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Among the projects inaugurated was the 10 megawatts Kano solar power plant jointly owned by the federal and Kano state governments as well as Kumboso local government council. Situated on a 24-hectare parcel of land, the project, which has more than 21,000 solar panels, 52 inverters and 6 megawatts transformers, is so far the largest grid-connected solar PV plant in the country. President Buhari was informed that apart from catalyzing growth in the power sector, the renewable project also builds Nigeria's credentials in the fight against climate change and the commitment to attaining the net zero carbon emissions by 2060.
This project by the Nigerian Sovereign Wealth Investment Authority, NSIA, is a clear demonstration that the country is doing the right things and walking the talk in our decarbonization commitment.
President Buhari also inaugurated the Dala Inland Dry Port Zawachiki. This critical transport infrastructure, the Transportation Minister Muazu Jaji Sambo says, is one of the 6 established in the country to decongest the seaports while taking shipment and port services closer to importers and exporters in the hinterland. Kano in particular as the commercial capital of northern Nigeria with huge agricultural trade in both local and export volumes as well as numerous industrial concerns across various sectors of the economy is not only suited but most qualified for the infrastructure project.
Your Excellency Mr. President, generations to come will remember the exemplary leadership that you have provided in these and other areas.
Also inaugurated by the President is a National Tier 4 Data Center and Northwest Regional Office, Kano, of the Galaxy Backbone. Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, told the President that a center with over 99% reliability is one of the worthy legacies of the Buhari presidency in the digital economy sector.
From 2015 to 2023, we have executed and implemented projects and programs around 155 within Kano State, and we have similar interventions in other states all over the country.
The President also declared open the more than 460 units Darmanawa Royal City, Kano. It is a social housing initiative of the federal government executed through the Family Homes Fund to provide affordable houses to those in need.
We have successfully funded the development of over 16,000 houses and by so doing created up to about 75,000 direct and indirect jobs.
Meanwhile, the palace of the Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, came alive as President Muhammadu Buhari paid homage on the highly revered monarch.
I think this system is good. It's good in the sense that our traditional institutions are respected and are honored. It's very important that we have understood the politics. We are respecting people from the bottom upward. And this is common sense because people matter.
The The Emir applauded the president for enhanced federal presence in critical sectors of the Kano state economy, saying posterity will be kind to the Nigerian leader. He also appreciated the president for extending the deadline for the cash swap program, describing him as a leader who listens and responds appropriately to the plight of the less privileged. Before leaving the palace, President Buhari inaugurated the Emir's new council chambers called Soron Ingla. From Kano, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
When effectively operated, a cashless policy in Nigeria can help stem the surge of illicit election financing by making it possible to track funds, says Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who is equally encouraging the provision of more infrastructure useful for financial inclusion. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Welcoming a delegation of the European Union Election Observation Mission to the country, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo observed that so much money could be spent without it being tracked under the current election financing practices. On the issue of electoral offences, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo noted that there is the Electoral Offences Commission Bill at the National Assembly, hoping that it will begin a new regime of dealing with electoral offences. He emphasized that the law enforcement agencies should be responsible for arresting and prosecuting offenders state by state, explaining that though electoral offences are always seen through a political prism, what is more important is that the country finds a system where the police could have a special unit for offences during the course of elections. The Federal High Court, he observed, could also have a special jurisdiction to deal with offences and not extend beyond the Federal High Courts. On the role of the judicial system, the Vice President noted that more attention should be paid to the monitoring of tribunals and their outcomes, calling for more scrutiny from the National Judicial Council. Leader of the delegation, Barry Andrews, said that the observer mission would be monitoring the elections coming up next month and hope for a peaceful and fair electoral process. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mohammed Musa Bello, has given assurance that some ongoing critical infrastructure projects will be fully completed before the expiration of the present administration. This was while presenting his administration's landmark achievements during the PMB Scorecard series in Abuja. Onoze Yakubu was there and now reports.
Given his administration stewardship in the last 7.5 years, FCT Minister Mohammed Musa Bello reiterates the commitments of his administration to completing all inherited projects. These include roads, bridges, water projects on various appreciable stages of completion, while some have been completed, giving a healthy experience for motorists and other road users. The rehabilitation of the United Nations building bombed in 2011 is another landmark achievement that was commended, while the construction of the 75-kilometer Ushafa-Gurara route by the FCT administration has improved land value in Buhari Area Council.
Most of you will recall in 2015, for you to get into the city from the airport or from Gwagwalada, you needed to meander through a number of uncompleted bridges. Well, you know that we completed all these bridges.
The Abuja Light Rail project is one of the legacy projects that is receiving topmost attention of the administration that will ensure eco-friendly transport system, as the solar-powered streetlight initiative was adopted because of its advantages. He assured that some of the ongoing critical infrastructure projects will be completed and put to public use before the expiration of the present administration, as Abuja remains work in progress. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
The federal government has declared that legal action taken against any Nigerian who undermines the nation's democracy is right and justified. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, stated this during the 20th edition of the ongoing PMB Scorecard series in Abuja. Anthony Forson reports.
I'm sure we are all interested in hearing about the giant strike
The Information and Culture Minister's reaction is in response to the United States' decision to slam a visa ban on Nigerians believed to be responsible for or implicated in undermining democracy in the country.
Whatever action is taken against anyone who undermines this democracy that has been watered by the blood of many of our patriots is right and justified. For us as a government, we are proud to say that no administration since Nigeria's return to democratic rule in 1999 has shown more fidelity to the democratic process than ours.
Making the point that President Muhammad Buhari has left no one in doubt of his determination to ensure free, fair and credible election and hand over to his successor, he will return to his country home, Dara.
The President has also given unprecedented support to INEC, while also signing into law the Electoral Bill 2022 that Nigerians have hailed as a reason to have confidence in the electoral process.
He reminded the gathering of the federal government's resolve to ensure the election holds against naysayer speculations.
On January 10th, 2023, to inquiries from the media over a widely circulated report credited to an INEC official that the 2023 general elections face a serious threat of cancellation due to insecurity. We said, and I quote, "The position of the federal government remains that the 2023 elections will be held as planned. Nothing has happened to change that position."
Lai Mohammed maintained that the scorecard series is a testimony of the President Muhammad Buhari's administration success story.
What we are doing here today, as part of our scorecard series, is another indication of our administration's determination to leave office on May 29, 2023. With our honorable ministers telling Nigerians what we have done since assuming office in 2015, we were in essence presenting our handover notes to those who elected us as an administration as we prepare to leave in
Abuja. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
We'll take some messages now. Stay tuned for more reports. Thanks for staying tuned. All is now set for the inaugural edition of the Digital Economy Regional Conference, aimed at bringing all 15 West African member countries of the ECOWAS sub-region to discuss and showcase efforts at developing digital economies in the sub-region. The conference, which is being organized by the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, led by the Minister, Professor Isa Ali Pantami, will hold on Tuesday, 31st January 2023 at Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja at 9 o'clock in the morning. Attendance is strictly by invitation, while the public is advised to join the conversation via the Nigerian Television Authority and the Zoom link available on the event's website. 100 youths selected from the 27 local government areas of Borno State are undergoing a 5-day training in skill empowerment, courtesy the federal government. The training, organized by the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, in collaboration with Borno State government, is targeting skills modernization and equipping youth in the area of vulcanization. Umaru Kirawa reports that 500 units of modern smokeless stoves were also distributed to vulnerable women to combat climate change.
Reviving technical, engineering, science, education and youth engagements, particularly among victims of the insurgency, are the targets of NASENI towards poverty alleviation and restoration of socio-economic activities. Borno State Ministry for Higher Education, Science, Technology and Innovation is the supporting partner in the actualization of the NASENI objective.
I appreciate Muhammad Buhari and Professor Zulum for all of their effort.
Aside the intensive training, the provision of the state-of-the-art equipment, tools and other vulcanizing kits worth millions of naira to the selected 100 youths in Borno are targeted at creating more employment opportunities for them.
We have to appreciate His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief for this intervention.
Chief Executive Officer Naseni, Professor Muhammad Sani Haruna, appreciated Borno State Government for establishing technical and vocational centers
in order to restore the infrastructural facilities that is damaged in this state and to build new ones for progress. It is necessary to do what Mr. President has done.
Representative of Borno State Government, the acting head of service, Malam Fanami, said the intervention will better the lot of the people who lost livelihoods as a result of the insurgency in the northeast.
Mr. President has always given us all the necessary support that we need.
Government officials and experts put forth words of encouragement and urged the participants not to sell the items provided and be productive members of the society. In Maiduguri, Umaru Kirawa, NTA News.
The federal government will deploy point-of-sales agents for cash transfers during the National Social Safety Net Program scale-up. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, said this while hosting the Executive Director, Angola, Nigeria, South Africa constituency of the World Bank Group in Abuja. The program will cost $800 million and will take off in 2023.
Working on having all of the database that is required. So there's the rapid response register that has been set up and is being expanded. There's also a pipeline of agents network that are being put in place, working with the banking system and other financial services, so that on the approval of the National Assembly, we'll be able to quickly start deploying the funds that will be disbursed by the bank.
Well, there are quite a number of projects that are in the pipeline from government side that are being funded by the World Bank. In my next visit, I will have a visit in the bigger sites where the projects are much bigger than what I have seen in the last few days that I was here. But there is a lot of work that still needs to be done on things like food security, like ensuring that there is access to electricity for citizens. And I think this is just the global African problem where almost 600 million people in the continent have no access to electricity. And electricity always is a catalyst for economic growth and development.
The National Social Safety Net Program scale-up is to be implemented by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. Now, tension is high a day after President Muhammadu Buhari approved a 10-day cash swap extension of the redesigned Naira note. What difference will the extension make in beating the deadline? Bosede Abel, who has been monitoring this development, reports that most ATMs in Abuja city are out of cash. Bose, it's over to you.
One will think the zeal and efforts residents made to beat the January 31st deadline will be the same after the extension. But that doesn't seem to be the case anymore, as most of the once busy ATM terminals are now free due to lack of cash.
Well, the way I look at it is that the banks want to sabotage the government. All the banks, they are not dispensing the money, all.
In fact, I went to 4 banks on this service. None is paying.
Unfortunately, the money will come out and reverse back.
When I came here, though they say it was paying, but I've not seen somebody coming out with money.
The extension, it has dashed the hope of some people. They're still waiting, still counting the days.
I pray so that it will be achievable. But with the situation on ground today,
if government are ready of this extension, they have to stop giving old note inside the bank so that the new note is going to circulate.
They should release money. Let's collect money for both in the counter and the ATM. Simple.
While some residents believe there is time enough to meet the targeted date, others noted it would amount to a waste of time if the new notes are not readily available. In Abuja, Bosede Abel, NTA News.
Thank you, Bossedi. Meanwhile, Nigerians have continued to react to the cash swap extension, with the new deadline being February 10, 2023. In Bauchi, Awal Abdullahi reports that residents of Bauchi have described it as a welcome development which will enable rural dwellers exchange their old notes for new.
Now they will even get an awareness that they have exceeded to 10 days, which is I think of 10th of February, so that they can even have a time on their own to see how they can bring it, so that they can able time to change it. So for me, it's a development, quite development.
For us, it's another development because they are closing it on 31st. They have had another 10 days. For us, it's another development. But still, please let the government of Nigeria do something about this thing, because plenty people are suffering. Most of us are poor.
Sapkwato, Dalhatu Abdullahi reports that a cross-section of Nigerians have mixed reactions.
And mostly they didn't deposit their money in the banks. So you can see us here. Everybody has something to do. But we will rest here for some time. We will never withdraw a money up to now.
Withdrawal limit is 20,000 and maybe you want like 100,000. That means you will be coming here every day with that.
They refuse to give us new money. They refuse to give us old money. The situation is pathetic.
From 50-50 naira that they give us, the one people are not collecting it and it's no good.
Meanwhile, our correspondent in Abeokuta, Kemi Sikiru, reports that Nigerians are calling on the Central Bank of Nigeria to inject more money into circulation to ease monetary transactions. The Department of State Services has intercepted some members of an organized syndicate involved in the sale of the redesigned Naira notes. A statement by spokesperson of the service, Dr. Peter Afunanya, indicates that DSS operatives in the course of operations in some parts of the country established that some commercial bank officials are aiding the economic malfeasance. Consequently, the service warns currency racketeers to desist from this act while urging appropriate regulatory authorities to step up monitoring and supervisory activities to address emerging trends. DSS commands and formations have also been directed to ensure that all persons and groups engaging in the illegal sale of new notes are arrested and prosecuted. Now, the Buhari Media Organization says the present administration has done more to make states economically viable than any previous administration. The media group, in a statement signed by Chairman Ni Akinsiju, says all 36 states have enjoyed federal government interventions running into 6.5 trillion naira in the last 7 years. This, BMO says, includes budget support facilities packaged like soft loans to be prepaid over 30 years and the recent 13% derivation refund to oil-producing states. Now, Michael is standing by in Lagos for more updates.
Thank you, Najatu. A larger percentage of Lagos residents are taking advantage of the extension of deadline on the redesigned Naira notes to deposit cash in their possession. Abolade Salami reports that ATM points and banks recorded high turnout of customers.
The 10th extension window announced by the federal government has been described as an avenue that will support further spread of the redesigned notes to areas where commercial banks or automated teller machines cannot be easily accessed. As Nigerians try to take advantage of the extension period, banks and ATM points are at the receiving end as customers besiege these payment points to make either withdrawal or deposit.
I went inside the banking hall. I was chatting for the manager and everything. They were begging me. They will put money for ATM now. They put money. I stayed there for more than 1 hour. I'm just coming from there. No money.
They say we should wait, that they are still going to load it, but there is no money inside the ATM.
How long have you been there?
But let's say for 1 hour.
While the shift in dates has continued to attract reactions, prominent of them all is the unanimous call on the Central Bank of Nigeria to ensure deposit money banks comply with the directive of making the redesigned Naira notes available to customers.
At least you can see the banks queue everywhere here and there. So if they should work like from now till on the 10th of February and they are working weekends too, I think the money Naira notes will be able to circulate.
So the extension will afford them the opportunity to, go deposit their old Naira notes, or what the governor is doing. I'm in support of it.
It is the belief of the public that with the sustained efforts demonstrated by residents, the agitation for extension will be minimal at the expiration of the new deadline. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
For the foundation of mentoring in the army to work stronger, impeccable leadership recruitment in the military remains the veritable platform to promote mentorship in the army. This is the summation of the General Officer Commanding 81 Division, Major General Obina Juma, in his lecture at the inauguration of new set of students officers of the Army College of Logistics. Let's join Larry Bilay for details.
Unveiling the new name of the Army Logistic College from Nigeria Army College of Logistics, NACO, to Nigeria Army College of Logistics and Management, NACOM, by the General Officer Commanding 81 Division, Nigeria Army, Major General Obina Ajunwa, started off proceedings at the inauguration ceremony. The inauguration ceremony of students of Senior Leadership and Staff Officers Course 1 2023 as well as Logistics Staff Course 2023. The inaugural lecture delivered by the GOC analyzes the importance of mentorship in the Army, describing it as an essential component in imbibing leadership qualities in officers and inspiring high performance in the military.
Is a standard format that mentoring is a military thing, and introducing it as a model in this college and other colleges in the Nigerian Army is not a misplaced priority. It's something that has always been done, but we're now taking it to higher level.
With logistics planning a prerequisite for successful military operations, the focus of the college is to train officers on skills required in operating environment through logistics aspects of planning, management, as well as operational heart and statistics. In Lagos, Larry Bilay, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for some messages. The news will be back shortly. Please stay.
The three-layered ultra-modern flyover interchange executed by the Ganduje administration to enhance the beauty of Kano City, among other improvements, has been formally declared open for use by the motoring public. The critical infrastructure, named after President Muhammadu Buhari, is one of the several state government projects inaugurated by the Nigerian leader during his official visit. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
First of its kind in Nigeria, the three-layered flyover and interchange could best be described as an infrastructural development masterpiece, integrated with Arewa traditional impressions to instill the love of Kano in the hearts of the people. The magnificent edifice has two independent underpasses and two dual carriageways linking Wudil to Eastern Bypass as well as Hotoro to Ring Road, easing the flow of traffic and providing access for both freight and other road users. President Muhammadu Buhari also declared open the new Kano State Data Center at the Audubako Secretariat. Governor Abdullahi Ganduje described the project as a giant leap towards the transformation of Kano digital economy. Another state government project inaugurated is the Professor Habzat Ganduje Cancer Treatment Center. The health facility, fully equipped with state-of-the-art medical equipment, including 3 major radiotherapy machines capable of treating 150 cancer patients daily, is aimed at not only providing services for those in need, but also reducing medical tourism abroad.
I thank you very much for your foresight and for the infrastructure you are putting to make not only medical tourism but other tourisms are necessary.
President Buhari also inaugurated the Aliko Dangote Ultra-Modern Skills Acquisition Center along Zaria Road. 20 different types of skills are being taught and acquired by the people of Kano towards enhancing self-reliance. These include computer engineering, automotive mechanics and electronics, plumbing and pipe works, as well as various aspects of renewable energy.
Your Excellency, you are making Kano not only the commercial nerve center of the northern part of this country, but also the commercial nerve center of some West African countries.
At the state luncheon organized in his honor, President Muhammadu Buhari described as impressive what the Ganduje administration has been able to achieve silently in terms of development in critical sectors of the economy within available resources.
We have done very well in infrastructure. The amount of developments on the ground, they are fantastic. We thank God.
President Buhari used the opportunity to make a strong case for state governments to pay more attention to the education of the young ones for a sustainable future of the country. From Kano, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And now to electoral matters. Considered the big brother, Nigeria is West Africa's largest democracy. And as the country goes to the polls, the ECOWAS is determined to support Nigeria to achieve successful transition. Onengie Fineface reports.
Nigeria has been instrumental in promoting good governance and democracy in Africa, especially the West African sub-region. Conduct of the 2023 general elections in Nigeria is therefore tops on the agenda as ECOWAS Parliament holds its first extraordinary session in Bissau.
I can assure everybody, I can assure the Nigerian people that the management of the ECOWAS Commission and all other stakeholders in ECOWAS have been working tirelessly to ensure that there is peace. First of all, there is peace in Nigeria. Number two, there will be a free and fair elections.
As the nation goes into the conduct of the polls, Parliament expects Nigeria to walk the talk by sustaining its standard in the conduct of general elections.
A credible election in Nigeria means a credible election in the sub-region, because a lot of the countries, if not all of the countries, are seeing Nigeria as an example, and we expect that Nigeria will rise up to the occasion.
We are all looking at what is happening in Nigeria, and we hope that we come out very peaceful, transparent and democratic. That will send a very big signal to all the other countries in the sub-region, especially for countries that are still under military rule.
Parliament is working together with the ECOWAS Commission to closely observe the election across Nigeria.
Meanwhile, the European Union Observer Mission in Nigeria's 2023 general election has deployed a 40-man long-term team to support Nigeria in any way possible to achieve a credible 2023 general election. Hamman Jabani reports that another team will be added for a short-term exercise towards the success of the polls.
The European Union Election Observer Mission, which is in Nigeria for the 7th time, is to provide a comprehensive, independent and impartial assessment of the electoral process based on international and regional standards for democratic elections. The EU Chief Observer to Nigeria, Barry Andrews, said the mission is committed to work together to consolidate democracy in the country, and this election will be crucial for the stability of the region.
We will, of course, be examining the implementation of the Electoral Act and all of the changes that have taken place and all the challenges that are peculiar to Nigeria. Each electoral environment has its own characteristics, and we are cognizant of all of those characteristics that apply across Nigeria. There are concerns naturally relating to the new technology, relating to the full implementation of the Electoral Act, to the work of INEC, to how the judiciary will look at the various questions that are put to them in relation to electoral challenges, and this is the environment in which we will rely on our long-term observers.
In line with the EU election observation methodology, the mission will issue preliminary statements after the election day. The final report, which will include a set of recommendations for further electoral processes, will be presented after the finalization of the entire electoral process. The EU Observer Mission will remain in the country until the completion of the 2023 electoral process. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
The APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu has received a delegation from the European Union Election Observer Mission in Nigeria at his residence in Abuja. The EU delegation, which was led by Chief Observer in Nigeria Barry Andrews, is observing the electoral process, the legal framework and its implementation, as well as the performance of the election administration, among other objectives. The APC presidential candidate, in his reaction after the closed-door meeting, described it as robust.
The meeting was very, very good. It's enlightening, and it reflects a true commitment to democracy and peaceful election in the country, and that is what we're standing for. We will, definitely adhere to the rule of the game.
Well, we asked him questions about the challenges that are faced by all parties here in Nigeria with the evolution of the technology, ensuring the safety and access to polling stations. We exchanged a confidential conversation about all of that, but clearly these are the issues that are faced by everybody that has an interest in the future of Nigerian democracy. Thank you very much.
The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has commended INEC for extending the deadline for collection of PVCs. This and other issues formed the talking point during his meeting with a delegation from the European Union Election Observation Mission. Ekene Undului reports.
The mission has been in Nigeria since January 11, observing political events as Nigerians gear up for the February elections. Their visit to the Labour Party campaign office is to discuss issues of concern to the presidential candidate. Top on the issues were collection of PVCs, registration of underage voters, and inclusivity.
What we are doing is to try to develop a picture of the transparency, inclusivity and credibility of the election, and we will report that 2 days after the election in a preliminary report and press conference on the 27th of February.
Mr. Peter Obi says he has confidence in the electoral umpire.
And in some areas where there's complaints, like areas like Lagos State and things that were major complaints where people feel they were being denied PVC for one reason or the other, that INEC gives you attention to it. And I must thank them for extending the collection period. I urge them to ensure that people collect their PVC. This election is very important to Nigeria. It's an essential election. We want all those who are registered to participate.
Mr. Obi also expressed hope that the authorities will give students a break to participate in the election. In Abuja, Ekene Undului, NTA News.
The APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu has urged the electorate in Akwa Ibom State to use their decision-making power at the polls in his favor, saying he is ready to reposition the country for greater prosperity.
When the Tinubu-Shetima campaign train had a stop in Akwa Ibom State, the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium was the venue to host party stalwarts and followers. APC leaders in the state believe the turnout here is a clear indication of a direction the state electorate have decided to take in the coming elections.
This is the government of prosperity that is coming. This is the way we want to vote, and this is the way we are going. Are you ready to talk about government house in Akwa Ibom State?
They say their presidential candidate's record as a former governor of Lagos State is an attestation to his capacity to position Nigeria as an economic world power.
That audacious man is bringing courage and audacity to government in Nigeria. What Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You will create employment opportunity for you. We will do mechanized farming. Yes, sir. We will export food from Abuja. We will build a deep sea port.
The APC presidential candidate and his team also met with Akwa Ibom State Traditional Rulers Council to receive their blessing. From Uyo, Musbao, and Wahab, NTA News.
And now for business news with Musa Abubakar. What's the latest, Musa?
Thank you, Naja. Let's bring you up to speed with business development. The federal government says it is steadily evolving measures and gaining appreciable traction in the deployment of skills required for employment. This is as the Industrial Training Fund, in collaboration with development partners, launched National Apprenticeship and Traineeship System with a framework that guides occupational competence, identification, selection, and admission of apprentices and trainees by employers, in addition to rights and protection in the workplace, among other guiding principles aimed at bridging the skills and employment gap.
Unemployment, while also affording the youth the opportunity to earn income while learning, enhance eligibility for financial assistance while on training, and also engage a sizable number of youths, since it does not require formal education as a prerequisite.
121 of the 338 have been placed into jobs upon graduation.
For you to cross the realm of sustainability to the realm of competitiveness, you need deep and practical skills that can help you to drive your.
And out of stocks, it's a positive start for the equities market as investors gain 277.31 billion naira. The all-share index advanced by 0.95% at 53,157.83 basis point. Market capitalization rose to 28.953 trillion naira. Investors exchanged 201.3 million units of securities valued at 5.6 billion naira in 4,332 deals. Zenith Bank, Guarantee Trust Holding Company, and Transcorp were the most active shares in terms of volume at the end of the session. That's it. The news continues after the break.
That concludes the news at this hour. Thanks for watching. See you next time.